Hello, everybody. Can you hear me online? Okay, I can hear myself now. That's great. So we're just going to get some other people into the room whilst I'm waiting. In the meantime, if you have any questions or you want to raise any points, please just unmute yourself and ask your questions away. We can hear you in the room. And hopefully that's okay. But equally, please put some into the chat as well. So we're just waiting. In the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run the poll, if that's okay. Run the poll, and I'll run that. And if you can do that whilst waiting for everybody, that would be brilliant. Thank you. So the poll is on. There are 5 questions. More in the room. Yeah, I'm just making sure they sit at the table. Yeah, sit at the table.
Yeah, I think we are, but
Thank you. I can see the poll's being finished and done. Keep going. In the chat, I did put the Midas email address, midas@uclan.ac.uk. So if you have any further information or you would like any more details, just contact us that way.
Mark?
Yes?
Joe has asked if you could put a list of the subgroups in the chat just to make it easier.
Somebody got some good typing experience.
I can do it
quickly. Yes, we got somebody who'll type very quickly into the chat here. I'll get them to do it. So I'm going to move out of the way. There are 9 groups. So it's quite a lot. Valeria, do you have a list?
Subgroups.
Of the subgroups?
Yeah, I got it on my phone. Yeah.
I got it on the phone. Okay. We're just finding that, get the complete list for you. In the meantime, has anybody got a question?
Yeah.
Okay. So 9 groups are public engagement and involvement, behavioral science, implementation science, evidence synthesis, health economics, clinical trials, information. We have another information science, but it's slightly different, isn't it? Information science, complex interventions, and the qualitative one, which is the last speaker. So I think what we can do is the team in the room can hear you. They've got microphones in front of them. If you've got any questions, I know part of this is to ask people for help. So I suppose I'm just going to ask the people in the room briefly, what do you want from people?
We just want to know if anybody has any questions or ideas, what kind of things you would want to see from our groups.
Yes, the idea is to get input from yourself, I guess, and we have some ideas. I'm part of the economic subgroup, but we don't want to impose our ideas. So we want very much to learn what people want, training health economics, ideas for health economic seminars, networking events, things like that. So we really value your input today. This is a really great opportunity to do this. Yeah.
yeah, we're similar really. So behavioral science group want to really think about what you perceive behavioral science as Lisa said in her little talk previously, there's a lot of different thoughts about what behavioral science is. And so until we sort of understand what people think it is, it's hard to offer some help. Again, we're seeking people today to join the network. So if you are interested in behavioral science, let me know, send me your email and we can add you to the network. And we've also very close to finishing putting together a survey, which we're going to send out to help us understand what your needs are around behavioral science, understand what you're doing in your organizations around behavioral science, what help you might need. We were hoping to have it ready online for today. It's not quite ready. So again, if you would be interested, let me know and I can get that out to you when it's ready.
And I'm from the Public Involvement and Engagement Group, and I probably would say that we are really looking for a bit of direction now. We've been involved in completing surveys for forums and completed several podcasts. But what are we missing? Where should we be going now? And what are people doing out there that could help us in any way and collaborate with us going forward?
Thank you. Okay, so the poll's still going to stay up, so we're going to leave that up and just fill it in as we're going along. Is there any burning questions for anybody online? Just unmute yourself and chat. Otherwise, you might have me singing. I don't think you want. Go on, Joe.
Hi, I've got a bit of a random question. So when the oh sorry, where's it gone? I'm trying to find it on the list. The clinical trials group popped up on the screen and talked over its scope there. It occurred to me, given that we've now expanded the scope of what we do to social care as well, how does that fit in? Is there anywhere where trials in a social setting are covered? Would that fall under clinical trials? Because it's not a health focus. I was just wondering.
My instinct is probably yes. I don't think there's any reason why you would exclude anything that isn't a trial. So it's the trial. I think the issue obviously is how many social care trials are there, and that obviously is around the methodology. But the key bit with all these Midas subgroups is they are around the specific methodology. They're not necessarily focused on the topics as such. It's very much driven by actually, so you're doing a trial in social care, that's perfectly fine. I'm sure it'll be part of their discussions as well. So hopefully that answers that question, Joe.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Anybody else? Kosa? I think I can see some people's hands up. So yeah, so Kosa, please. Is she still muted? Okay. Yep. So Catherine.
Yeah, Catherine.
Yeah.
Sorry,
it's a tiny screen. I'm struggling.
No, I just wondered: is there anybody working in realist methods? I've got something sort of potentially developing that would be a realist evaluation. I just wondered if you know of anybody who's done that before within the ARC and associated institutions.
I think that would probably come under the qualitative subgroup, which we don't have anybody here, but I can pass that question on to them. I know that Kenny Finlayson, who is the sub lead, I think he might have done some realist work before.
I think he done something, and Kenny is a part of the evidence synthesis subgroup. I think he's the deputy lead. So yeah, we will pass the question on. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Sorry, I have yes, I can Terry, I can see you. Yeah.
Hi there, everybody. Yeah, I'm very interested in PPIE. I mean, I'm involved a lot. One thing that I'm aware, though, is that there's still some tendency by some to have PPIE involvement as a box ticking exercise. How do you best enrich what you're doing by really good quality PPIE involvement? It is very difficult. And it is very easy to sort of lapse into, not that you do, but it is easy to lapse into just if somebody is a member of the public, then yeah, their voice should be heard, and which is fine. But then how does that enrich the actual projects and the work you're doing? How do you make it more than a box ticking exercise?
Funnily enough, that was something that we found from our surveys and our discussions, that people were saying it's the same old people being involved in research, and so it is really, it's been highlighted as one of the most important things, that we are reaching out and ensuring that inclusivity and diversity across the public and community. And so we have been networking and linking with as far wide as we can, including, going out to charities, community and third sector, going into those areas where people would not really know about us and speaking to them. And hopefully, the podcast that we've developed as well talks a lot about, there's various diversity in the podcast that we've developed, with some of the public engagement in really different settings. For example, one of the podcasts is with Janet Garner from UCLan, and she has been involved in some in engaging community volunteers to come to the campus and be involved in research in that way. And so we are reaching out to those kind of groups that go out and connect with people far wide. So we are getting a diverse voice and into the research that's been carried out.
So in the subgroup, that's one of the things you're trying to help is obviously further that conversation. Okay, so if you join the subgroup, then obviously that's part of the conversation now. Selena, I know your hand's up, but I don't know if you can also answer that question as well.
Can I just add one more thing? Sorry, that we are also looking for a lay person to be part of our subgroup to hopefully develop that further as well.
Tell you what, there's a call out. Thank you. Selena?
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Great. Similar to your conversation, I was going to say something that I've noticed, I think, is that, researchers quite often understand the importance of public involvement, and they want to do a good job of it, but people can be a bit nervous about how to approach things differently other than just, having the usual sort of people involved. So I'm wondering whether we could do anything around practice, practical practice around different ways that we could engage people, and maybe different methods as well, like participatory methods, creative methods, working with different groups to sort of increase people's confidence. And the other thing is that I've gone and sort of watched some public involvement sometimes, with like projects and stuff like that, and sometimes I think that we could do more to plan better, focus groups and workshops with the public to better utilize the time and to sort of communicate better with people that are non-academics. So it might be interesting to think about some practical work around that kind of planning public involvement as well.
So in terms of the subgroups, how often do you meet? So how often are you planning to meet, should we say?
We've so far met about twice a year, and I think it will depend on how the group develops as to whether we meet more frequently than that. But yeah, it's probably going to be about 2 or 3 times a year.
Yeah, similar. I think probably 2 or 3 times a year. Sometimes we meet like twice in a couple of months. So it's very much like irregular. But of course, we try to plan seminars in advance, and sometimes speakers have to come at certain times. So we can't always predict a certain frequency. But yeah, 2 or 3 times a year, we'll say. Yeah.
For the behavioural science group, I think we've actually only had 1 group meeting so far. But again, the purpose of this survey that we're wanting to get out is to see what people want. We're very mindful that the initial plan was to have a meeting every quarter. People didn't seem to want that because it just doesn't fit into people's diaries. So we're very mindful of not just creating meetings for the sake of it. So we do want to find out how often people would like to meet. We're thinking maybe twice a year would be more doable, but also what's the purpose of those meetings? What do you want us to do? You want us to deliver something within that, some training, or so yeah, we'd really appreciate it if you could fill out the survey once we've got it. So would we be able to put my email in the chat?
You can put it into the chat. Yeah,
I'll come up and do it at the end, and then
you can put it into the chat. Brilliant. And PPIE teams?
We've been meeting quite regularly because we've been involved in writing several documents and reports and developing the website. So we've met quite regularly, but if we were to have lots of different members, I think maybe meeting up 2 to 3 times a year would work. And again, it would be really useful to know what kind of activities and things they want us to be delivering or be involved in those meetings, and helping us really take forward the subgroup. Yeah.
Okay, so there's a question I'm going to ask. I'll see if there's any more questions coming in. But a question for me is, how long are your meetings? Because I think this is the bit. So we've got a sense there of the commitment to joining one of the subgroups. Is not a huge amount of your time. Obviously, if you want to be all 9 groups, then you're quite welcome. But obviously, if you know, it's not a huge commitment. But in terms of the meetings, roughly about how long?
So far we've had I think 2 meetings, and they've been focused around a seminar. So we've had a seminar for maybe an hour, 3/4 of an hour, and then we've had some time after that for discussion. So the most recent meeting we had, it was around delivering how to sort of a train the trainer, how to deliver good training. And then there was, what do we call it? Like a learning session, so people could share their experiences of delivering training and what's worked for them. So it's been sort of an hour and a half to 2 hours, our meetings, and they are online, so you don't have the travel implications. People can join quite easily. Okay,
so you can see, I mean, I'm sure you're going to say the same thing, Valeria. I know we haven't got a huge amount of time, but yes, so there's a time commitment. There's not many times the meetings are going to happen. There's going to be a sense that they're online most of the time. I think that makes life much easier for us. And I'm looking to see if there's any more hands up at the moment. I can't see any, but if anybody wants to say anything, please do. I'm going to leave a pause. Oh, go on. Yep.
Hello?
Yes, yep.
Okay. One of the things, I am very, very passionate about qualitative research from being a public advisor, really. I've been involved in quite a lot of projects with regards having to thematically analyse interview transcripts, etc., on Microsoft Word. I would like there to be, I'm a student as well at UCLan, really, but I'd like there to pass this message on to the qualitative team, to get some training necessarily on how to use the computer software which UCLan use and Lancaster use, which is in Vivo, at least to have experience of what it's like to use that software at one training session. Is there any way I'd like to pass on that message to the qualitative subgroup team to see if that can be possible for public advisors?
Yes, we will definitely pass that on. I think there actually was a presentation on NVivo, and that should be recorded, and it should be available online. So I will email the link to you if that's okay.
No, that's okay. I've been to the presentation on NVivo, and that's interesting, but I haven't had actually hands-on experience of actually using NVivo at UCLan.
So it's more hands-on training of using it.
Yeah, more hands-on, please. No, like a session at UCLan using it, or
no problem.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, I can see Catherine's put a hand again. Thank you, Catherine.
Yeah, I was just going to say about NVivo, just following on from that point, I was asked to do an introductory workshop on NVivo at UCLan, which I did the other week. And it's repeated a couple of times. I've got to do the same session. I think I've said I'll do it 3 times over the year. So it's a very hands-on, very basic, you know, for people who've never used it before at all. Just look at some of the really basic functions. So it is obviously only available at UCLan, but I can share the next dates when that is.
That would be great.
I think it's through the staff. Some sort of staff development kind of, I don't know, it's one of them things I volunteered for it without really knowing who I'm doing it for. But it definitely runs again twice next year, so I can share that invite.
That would be great, thank you.
No, that'd be brilliant. So yeah, so there's I mean, from my bit of the subgroups is there is knowledge that sits in the subgroups. There's the shared knowledge as well that sort of sits in the subgroups. The other bit that people need to sort of consider is that it's a two-way, it's a collaboration. That's what we do in ARC, and therefore, you know, it very much requires input as well as the outputs that come from it. So we're definitely very much into sort of shared bits. So things like this in vivo training, I think it's, again, a lot of the time what you find is stuff is happening. It's just about getting the information out there, and then obviously seeing if people can access them as well. That's the other sort of the hurdle that happens. Is there anything that anybody else wants to say? I'm looking still on the online to see if there's any more chats. I know there's 36 of you there, so I've heard from a few of you. Is there anybody else? I know the poll's still up, and I'll switch that off at the end.
Whilst we're waiting, I'll come and put my
Yep, somebody's going to put their email in. That's brilliant. Okay. As I said earlier, the Midas team email is there, so if there's any questions, okay. Okay, so the in vivo session is there. Thanks, Catherine. And obviously, you can ask. So the other bit is that there is a chat, but we've also got a bit of a survey as well. Put the link in. We'll just type in, we'll sort out the link, and there'll be a link that goes into the chat that'll just explain some other bits about the session as well. I'm trying to think of a question myself I can ask people. I've asked you about time, I've asked you about commitment. Is there any burning issues that you may have that you know, sort of routinely crop up? I mean, we've obviously had the public involvement voice there, but is there anything that sort of tends to be repeated?
One thing I will say is, of course, I'm representing health economics subgroup. This subgroup is open to everyone. So I know, as Gordon was saying before, statistics, health economics is another subject where people might feel a bit scared about, but we are really very welcoming, so people can come on and partake in our meetings. You know, we try really to do presentations or events which are accessible and open to everyone. So we're not going to talk about equation or the modeling and stuff like that. So we're trying to be really welcoming. And linked to the previous point about how long meetings last, we got a playlist for our subgroup, so people can go on the YouTube channel for the ARC Northwest Coast. They can have a look at previous meetings. So we try to make everything available as well online for people who cannot attend. So there is possibility to watch what we did. And so, yeah, but the main message come, and we'll try to be very welcoming.
Yeah. We'll echo that as well.
Yeah.
With the information science group, you don't have to be a librarian or an information specialist to join the group. If you've got an interest in searching, information retrieval for supporting research, then you're very welcome to join us and join any of our sessions. And as John mentioned in the main session, we're hoping to develop a mentoring scheme to pair people up, either somebody who's new to information retrieval with someone more experienced, or different researchers with information specialists, so that they can learn from each other. So, you know, if anybody's interested, please get in contact with us.
Yeah, I'll add to that as well. So as we say, can't talk now, behavioural science group, you don't have to know all about behavioural science. Obviously, if you are working within one of our partner organisations and trying to change practice, then that's going to be all about behaviour. So we're about patient behaviour, we're about healthcare professional behaviour, and also the behaviour of the organisation. So we've got close links, I suppose, with the implementation group as well. And yeah, a lot of the projects and research that you might want to do is likely to have an element of behaviour change of some form within that. So even if you feel you know nothing about behaviour change, we'd love to welcome you to the group, so you can learn from us and input your thoughts as well.
So I think that's a good point that was made there, that as much as we've got 9 subgroups, they are subgroups, they are interlinked, they are interconnected. We definitely talk to each other, and they definitely will sort of share information across the different groups as well. So if you find you might be in the wrong subgroup, then I'm sure they'll help you find the group that makes more sense to you. I think we have about 5 minutes left of this session. So I'm looking online to see if anybody's got anything else they want to add in.
I think Selena has got a question. What events? How do you find out about events? Yes, they are. We do advertise any subgroup events through the ARC Northwest Coast channels, so into the ARC calendar and the newsletters that go out. So yeah, that's how you can sort of look out for those. We try and advertise them as widely as possible when we're putting them on.
Got a Twitter account or X account, so
Yeah, that's
for
true, yeah.
Midas, so we're gonna put things there more now. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
That's actually useful for us to know as well, because we were talking during that saying, well, how do we find out? People have said we've sent out surveys, and we said we didn't know about these surveys, so it's useful to know that there's a platform we can
Yeah, cool.
advertise
Yeah,
through.
yeah.
So that's good to know.
There's also the website as well, which splits all the subgroups up and details everything we've been involved in, and you know our outcomes and reports that we've developed from the work that we've done, so that you can find that on the website as well.
Okay, so there's a lot of information available, lots of different places. I'm just looking to see if there's any hands up. I can't see any at the moment. No, we've got about 3 minutes left. I could do a song, but
Well, I'll just thank Beth and Catherine for
Brilliant.
expressing interest in the behavioural science group. I'm trying to see you see me peeking up. You can't see the screen very well. So if there's anyone else that's expressed an interest and I've not got you, just drop me an email.
yeah, the chat's being recorded, so
All right,
we'll
brilliant.
disseminate out
Great.
everything that needs to be, isn't it? And obviously we've done the poll as well. Oh, there's that a question?
Thank you,
No,
Nicola.
somebody's emailed somebody. Okay, brilliant. I'm standing here trying to fill 2 minutes. Is there anything you want to add, Caitlin? I know Caitlin's here as well in the room. She's hiding behind me.
Not much more to add, so I think we said everything.
You.
Yeah, and now, yeah, I just
So
wanted
which
to,
groups are you part of?
well, I'm part of the qualitative subgroup and here?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm part of the qualitative subgroup and the behavior science subgroup. But more actively the qualitative, because the behavior science subgroup is just kicking off. So, and I just wanted to reiterate that if you email us on the email that I think Mark has shared, we can answer all the questions. And if you feel that you're not receiving any of the promotion of our events, then let us know in an email as well, and now we can try and include other platforms. So, but please do follow us on Twitter or X. Yeah. Thank you.
We're getting used to that one, aren't we? Right, so I'm going to thank everybody who's sitting in the room with me. And thank you very much for giving up your time to do this. Thank you, everybody else out there. I know there's at the moment 37 of you there, so I know I dropped off because I was on my phone as well. So. But thank you very much for taking time to spend with us. I know we're going to feed you back into the main session now, so I think we'll transfer you in. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.